Let me,
Okay, there's your record. So you're recording now.
okay. And I don't see anything that's popping up for you. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, we should be fine. What you can do is it's going to ask you where you want to record it to, like at the end. I think it's going to say, do you want to save to your drive, which is on your computer, or do
Okay.
you want to save to the cloud, which is in Zoom Cloud, which is accessed through the Zoom website.
Okay.
So those are the two options. I feel like it's easier to navigate where it's going if you do it to the cloud, and then you can download it to your computer.
Gotcha. Okay. That's good advice. Okay. I'm going to stop this one.
Yeah.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the Sarah Berry Show. If this is the first time that you are visiting, you guys are in for a huge treat. This is episode number 9, and this is the first time that I have ever done a Zoom interview. And this is not going to be just any Zoom interview. I have an amazing person that I want to introduce you to today. And we started out as friends, and she knows that she's already not getting rid of me. But as it turns out, she is an amazing person that we connected also on a business level. And she's just one of those people that the instant you meet, you love her, you feel like you know her. And then there is so much more that she has to offer. So welcome today. If you are tuning in on the podcast, if you're out running or driving or doing those things, this is great. If you, for those of you that did not know, I have a YouTube channel. Just find me at Sarah Berry over at YouTube. So if you would like to watch, these interviews are the best because you get to see us. And this girl has amazing skin, first of all, but there's just lots to see and lots to learn today. And I am so excited. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my friend, Millie Barra. She is a holistic coach, and she is in the health and wellness field as it relates to energy work and mindfulness. So I don't know about you guys, you know that I go very heavy on the business side with this podcast, but we all know it does not matter what you are engaged in. If you are going about your personal work, if you are in your career, maybe you're going to school, maybe you're a student, really and truly, there is so much more that just comes back to mindset. And convincing yourself to get out of bed in the morning, giving yourself or finding the confidence to do any of those tasks that you are carrying through. And I know in my years as a business person, but even more so as a parent, there is so much that comes back to just where you are mentally and how you're feeling about the work that you're doing. So I am going to turn it over to my friend Millie. She's going to give you a much better introduction than I have done, but you guys, I cannot tell you, I am so excited about today, and you are in for a real treat. So welcome, my friend Millie.
Awesome. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for having me on today. It is such an honor to be part of your podcast and your YouTube journey. Sarah is one of those people. Thank you for that welcome and introduction. I mean, you're so kind, but really, like, the moment I met Sarah, like she said, we totally clicked. It was as if we were long lost soul sisters.
Yep.
We hurried up and found a small corner to chat, and we were there all night, and our husbands were like, wait a minute, what are you doing? Where are you? So it's such an honor, but thank you for having me on your show. Like Sarah said, my name's Millie, and I am in the health and wellness industry, but with a bit of a twist. I focus in on energy work and mindfulness coaching. So I primarily help professional women who are struggling with the juggling act of home and life, release emotional baggage and things that are triggering them throughout their day that are amplifying their anxiety, increasing their depression and overwhelm. And really, through my work, I help them lighten this so that they really can thrive in all areas of their life. I'm a mom myself, so by profession, I went to school. I have a master's in education. I taught elementary education for 12 years. And then I became a stay-at-home mom when I started having children. And I thought it was everything and anything I wanted to be. And it turned out to be much different. Obviously, all you moms know.
I'm hearing a lot of moms say amen right now.
Yeah. I taught 36 other people's children, and that was easier than staying home and being with my own two kids. Not that I don't love them. I love them to death. I have two boys that are almost exactly 2 years apart, but man, were those early years tough. So through my own health journey and kind of realizing that I needed something to change. I was in a rut. I was struggling with anxiety. I was struggling with depression. I could barely get out of bed. It was basically where I would get up, throw some food out for my kids, and was basically constantly in survival mode. I suffered from adrenal fatigue. I went to a doctor finally, and I'm like, something's got to give, and he went through a panel of blood work and everything. And he's like, you're fine. Everything's fine. And I'm like, no, there's something wrong. I was struggling with a lot of inner mind chatter, and to the point where I'm like, this is not healthy. I was canceling on friends because I didn't want to leave the house. And I knew that this was not the mom I wanted my children to have. So about 3.5, almost 4 years ago now, I made the choice and the decision, and it begins with the choice and decision.
Yes, it does.
To start doing the inner work that I needed to do. I started with self-help books. And for me, at that point, I'm up for whatever people are comfortable for. But for me, I didn't want to go the medication route. I've always taken a more holistic approach to my health. And I knew that something needed to change in my mind and in my heart and in my being. What it was, I didn't know. And I started on this journey of exploring it. I started with self-help books. I did a couple, online challenges and things about really pulling yourself out of rut. But the biggest thing that had the biggest impact for me was identifying that emotions and experiences from our life, past traumas, even things that are generational, that are passed down from family members, it makes up who you are. And getting to those rooted things and releasing it, that is what had the biggest impact for me, to be able to finally stand up. And through this journey, I stepped into my purpose and calling, because as much as I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, there was just that little bit of me that just wasn't really feeling 100% fulfilled. I had left the professional arena and had my identity as a professional. And then I became mom, which, really is a really important role and one of the most important roles in my life. But it just, excuse me, it just left me feeling kind of empty. One thing the doctor asked me when I went to that checkup is, he's like, well, what makes you happy? Like, what brings you joy? I went home because, I'm the teacher and I need to do my homework assignment. And I sat there and wrote at the top of the page, like, what brings me joy? And the page was empty. And that was really where I was like, wow, we need to dig in deeper in that. So, but that's a little bit about me. I now have a thriving practice where I help other women through their own journeys of, freeing themselves from past traumas and emotional baggage and mindset and things like that. And I couldn't be happier now. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, there's still hard days.
Yes.
I'm not going to sugarcoat any of this. We all have our own journey. And really, this pandemic has really thrown all of us
it has got so much, it's just magnified things that were probably under the surface already. I can only imagine the things that you've seen happen over the last 1.5 years.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's just like steel. You place a little heat on it and you start finding the weak points.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
And that's what all of us, when you're under pressure.
Yeah.
When you're under pressure, you're going to start finding those. And there's nothing like having children to put a mirror in front of you to start showing you all your triggers and all your flaws. and amplify it to the nth degree. So,
you guys, I don't know if you're already getting the flow of this, but first of all, Millie is right. And she was so funny to say that we just found this little corner. The first time that we met in person, we were at an event for our husband's work. And it's kind of one of those really uncomfortable cocktail parties where everybody stands around and makes small talk, and fun. It was a great time. And, I enjoyed it, but it was like the minute that Millie and I clicked and figured out that there was more that we wanted to discuss, it's like we found this corner, and it was like nobody else existed in the room. And I think that you guys, Millie's being very humble, first of all. If she would wheel around in her chair right now, I am certain that there is a superhero cape that is hanging off her back. But the work that she's doing is amazing. And you probably just heard from that overview that, Millie, we've got a lot to talk about. And all of these topics in themselves, you could do a week on each of the things that you just talked about how many of us as mothers, myself included, I thought that was the ultimate. And don't get me wrong, I love my kids. It is the most fulfilling work that you'll do, but I was not prepared for, and the word that you used was empty. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I'm blessed to get to stay at home. It was the right choice for me and my family. But oh my goodness, I was not prepared for stepping out of, and I was in the corporate world at that time. I was not prepared for walking away from a job and not having that connection anymore, not feeling that identity. Like you said, you kind of lose your identity a little, well, not a little, a lot. Yeah. And like I said, everything that we're going through in life really comes back to your mindset. And I think what I want to touch on today is mindset is not something that I feel like you ever arrive at the answer, but it's an incredible thing if you keep working toward it. And each new level that you get to, either in your job or with raising kids, right when you think you have it figured out, bam, something else comes along. And I think the work that Millie is doing is really interesting because really and truly, a lot of it comes down to what your habits are. And you said your choices. And if you can get some of the shifts that need to happen and get more tools in your toolkit and things about how you can see the problem coming, label it, realize what it is, and then make those necessary shifts, I think that it can really be a game changer. And I know a lot of my audience in particular actually are very similar to who you just described. A lot of them are moms. Maybe they're finding these little pockets of time between dropping kids off at school where they have some time to really kind of, first of all, they could clean house, right? But how fun is that, Millie? I mean, if you can do other things during that time, why wouldn't you? But I think there's a lot of us in this season of life where you're finding out you have this time and maybe there's an emptiness, or maybe it's not empty, but maybe they know that there's something more that they want to reach for or accomplish and brings a little impact and a little bit of change to our world, but really don't know where to start. They may have feelings of, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I know enough. Who will buy my products? Can I do this? My family thinks I'm crazy. I mean, there's so many things that I think swirl around when you're deciding to finally take that leap and invest a little bit in you. And so I want to have you kind of touch on that a little bit more. If there are women out there, especially, that are sitting at home right now, staring at a sink full of, dirty dishes, thinking, is this all I have today? What kind of advice would you give them? What kind of starting point would you give them?
Yeah. And, that was exactly where I was at. I have a 6 and 8-year-old now, so they're now in school. We have a kindergartner, so he's in half-day kindergarten where we live. And I was struggling to figure all that out. But here's the biggest thing is how you think about something determines how you feel about something, which determines how you respond or act on something.
Okay, say that again. That's really good. I've got a pen and paper, and I am a student here right now. This is just kind of like,
which is why we get along so
yeah.
well. So how you think about something, determines how you feel. So it determines the emotions that it stirs up inside you. So it determines how you feel about something, which is going to then create a reaction on how you act on it.
Ooh, that is so good to break it out. So
because when you really look at everything, every aspect of life, and that's what I love about what I do and the modality that I use, which is called the Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Nielsen. I'm a trained practitioner with that modality. Is it's the belief that really our emotions are what drive everything.
Yeah.
You can't make any other person make you feel a certain way. You can have somebody treat you a certain way, but it's your response on how you think and feel to that.
Wait a minute. So you mean the other parents in the school drop-off line that don't understand which direction to turn? You need, I get lots of feelings during that time of the morning.
Girl,
So
drop off line's a battlefield. Like it is.
you're on your own.
No, I mean, and that's exactly what it is. What it's doing is it's triggering a vibration that is within you,
Yeah.
that is made up of emotions from your life experiences that then shape and create how you think and feel about something.
Yeah.
So, for us moms who have a lot of hats and have society messages being placed on them of what we should and shouldn't be as moms,
Right.
we should be the perfect moms that have everything figured out, a clean house. We got Rice Krispie treats that are all decorated, be able to be wrapped all nice in our kids' lunch boxes, all this different societal things, or from social media and things, those create our reality, but it's how we choose to respond to those things. The thing is, I like to say, don't beat yourself up too much, moms. And the reason is because our thought process are made up of two things: our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. And our conscious mind is only a fraction of what our belief patterns and thought patterns are.
Yeah.
Whereas our subconscious mind makes up of almost about 95% or 92% of our inner core beliefs, how we respond to things. And the amazing thing is, it's like the ultimate DVR. It records anything and everything that you have experienced through your life.
Right.
It's recorded it. It's programmed you to believe things because it's designed to help keep you safe.
Yeah.
So it can't tell the difference between joy and fear. You may want to be jumping in on this amazing business opportunity, but then it goes, nope, this is uncomfortable. You remember that time in third grade where you tried to do this and everybody laughed at you? So instantly it takes you back to that time in your life where you started feeling fear and anxiety and unworthy.
I don't know about you, but I think everybody that's hearing this right now, I probably thought of something right away that, oh my gosh, I remember back in the high school lunchroom when I went to sit with this person, or, I think that is such a human thing. And I think we all as human beings, but especially I think women, and yes. I don't want to paint with too broad of a stroke here, but I really think as women, especially, we have a tendency to kind of go to the negative first and go to the I'm lesser than first. And boy, that's a deeper hole to dig out of than just starting on flat ground and saying, I'm okay. I've got this. And I do have the skills that I need. And no, I don't have to be perfect. And no, there doesn't have to be decorated Rice Krispie treats in every lunch. But I guess walk us through when you, first of all, identify that feeling. Mm-hmm. What are some actionable things that you can do when you start to feel that, that feeling that you just described? What would you?
Yeah. I mean, basically, like, a really good example is the whole imposter syndrome, right?
Oh,
where you feel like you're not an authority within that whatever industry you're trying to be an authority in. And really, like, what I teach my clients and we work through is I always kind of start the session on, okay, here's the scenario. You really want to start pushing out these amazing products that you have. Mm-hmm. You have a zone of genius and you have this secret, sauce towards something, but you want to push up and then you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. What are people going to think? Oh, what if I don't make enough money? Or, no one's really going to like these. These aren't that amazing. Sally over there makes them better than I do. You start down the rabbit hole of thought process. Yeah. And really what you need to just stop. You need to just stop in the moment. And I really talk a lot about mindfulness and grounding. You need to just kind of come back within, because those are all what ifs, right? All what ifs, which we can have a gazillion different scenarios from the what ifs, and none of them are necessarily going to come true. Right. So really it's about, okay, slow down, stop, and take about 3 deep grounding breaths, like, really not from the shoulders, because that's where all your tension is, but really from your belly. Taking a breath where you're expanding from the belly first, in through your nostrils, Then it raises up into your lungs, hold
Mhm.
it for like a couple seconds, and then you slowly let it out. And do
Mhm.
about 3 rounds of that. And then that'll help with your parasympathetic nervous system to lower that cortisol level and that stress that's starting to percolate, right? Because that's the
Right.
whole fight or flight mentality. You're starting in on raising that anxiety and raising that cortisol levels. So stop there and then just take a second and feel it in your body. See, here's the thing. We are in a society where we often try to push everything away.
I was just going to say, but wait a minute, we don't feel things anymore. We go to the next thing to distract ourselves from feeling things. Is that what you find?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We're in a fast-paced society
Mhm.
where it's oftentimes taught, don't show your emotions, especially for us women. I really think because we are trying to carve out a place in a masculine society of
Yeah.
the workforce, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of masculine energy there. But
Mhm.
really, we need to bring that feminine energy and softening it and really being in tune to what is trying to come up.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes that chatter, that lady in the back of your head that's barking at you, that
Yeah.
can be a major beast sometimes.
Yeah. Like the
Um,
chick in the grocery store that
yeah,
drives her cart too slow. Yeah. I know
yeah.
who you're talking about.
Sometimes she just needs some attention. Say like, okay, I hear you. Like, I hear you. I see
Yeah.
you. Okay, but I'm going to settle into what I'm feeling. So, what is this moment bringing up? And it may take you a couple rounds. Okay, well, I'm scared, so there's fear. I feel a bit of an imposter.
Mhm.
Okay, and I'm a little anxious around it. I'm a little sad that if I'm rejected, but really, when it comes down to, you can identify what it is.
Yeah. That's interesting that you bring the word sad in because I think that fear sometimes is just sadness wearing a tuxedo. you
Exactly.
know, I think that it's or a feeling of defeat, but I think it manifests in fear a lot of times.
Yes.
That
Yes.
I'm sad that maybe I'm not where I thought I would be at this point in my life, or I'm sad about the Rice Krispies not being in the lunchbox. And I think it can manifest itself into fear a lot of times.
And then the response is anger
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah.
or it is freezing, shutting down. You
Yeah.
know, I experienced both of those. It's like when you're trying to get your child to do something, really, it's not coming down to the fact that your child is not doing what you're asking, it's because he's not
Right.
validating your voice.
Yeah.
And that's what you're frustrated and angry about, which then makes
Yeah.
you respond to that. So settle into those feelings. And because here's the thing, if you don't identify the emotions that you're feeling in those moments, what happens is they then get stuck in your physical body and your energetic field. I mean, we are all energetic beings.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that is a proven fact where that's what an EKG is, right? An
Oh, interesting.
EKG, yeah. So an
Yeah.
EKG, have monitors, and what those are electrical impulses that are being sent out from your heart.
Interesting.
So everything's made up of energy, and that's where sometimes we fall into that whole woo category, but really, like, it comes down to science, and emotions are energy in motion. It's
Wait,
just
say
like
that again. I am writing that one down.
so emotions are energy in motion.
I love that. I love that.
I mean, because
Okay.
if they weren't, why would emotions even matter?
Exactly.
Why would you be getting so raging mad when somebody cuts you off?
Yeah.
It's having a response on you.
Yeah.
And so what happens is these balls of energy get stuck in our body and our energetic fields, and it starts creating dis-ease
Oh,
within ourselves. So it disrupts our equilibrium.
you guys, okay, I already told you Millie's amazing, but who is getting like you could just write a book right now with just the things that I have written down here. This is dis-ease.
Dis
Yep.
hyphen EASE, dis-ease. So, and when they're left untreated, when these emotions that are stored in your body are left untreated or unresolved, then it'll break down your cell tissue, and it can manifest then and then create physical pain, emotional pain, anxiety, depression, negative thought patterns, PTSD,
Oh
and
wow.
all these different things. I have clients who come to me with chronic pain who have said they've tried everything.
Yeah.
And we do a session and realize that these energies are stuck in that particular area. And they're like, oh my gosh, like my pain went from like an 8 down to a 0.
Wow.
And again, not to say that medical care is not needed. I'm not a licensed physician, so please consult your doctor. Make sure I put that disclaimer out there. But it's really, and I always say it's the same thing. Like, why is it that when you experience a very stressful period of time, you often get sick after? The stress isn't made up of germs.
That is, gosh, that happens to me. That is like clockwork. That is really interesting. I guess I had not made that connection that strongly before, but you're right.
But it's the strain that it places on your body. It weakens your immune system.
Yeah.
Because your body's other neuron pathways and things are too busy trying to help cope you through those areas. Your cortisol levels high, and there's obviously scientific things about what happens when you're under stress as well. But yeah, and so in those moments, I really encourage people. The other thing too is you need to change your story, and sometimes, again, where I say, try not to beat yourself up too much, because your subconscious is programmed to believe this to be absolutely true.
Right.
And so it can take time to reprogram it. You didn't create these thought patterns and beliefs in one day.
Yeah.
It took a lifetime of experiences to get to where you are.
Right.
So in that time, so identify what it is. And what I do is through breathing, I say, I am going to release, I'm going to dissolve, and I'm going to cast out this fear right now from the past, the present, and the future.
It's a strong statement. That's a strong statement.
It's a strong statement. And you may not necessarily believe it in initially, but what happens is your subconscious mind's hearing it. Yeah. And it's going, oh, okay, so I don't need to feel this fear right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, and then it's just a day at a time. But really then where I come through is releasing the trapped emotions or imbalances that are also contributing to that. So,
imbalance is such a big word right now. And I think a lot, again, at the beginning of this, I said, I don't necessarily think that mindfulness, that you ever arrive at a destination. First of all, how much more rich is life anyway, to have all of these experiences and these things that cause you to learn and grow. But I think balance is another one of those things. I think there are certain things about balance that are achievable, but I don't think that, would you say that you ever feel like you're ever completely in alignment, or describe, the process of using that word balance to describe where you are with your emotions?
Well, I think the biggest thing is it looks different for every single person. What you're feeling in balance is different. And like I said, I work really hard on implementing things within my daily routine to try to help bring me kind of back to center. Because where I was as that mom who was always waking up, defensive mode because my kids were running in and then they're needing breakfast and all these different things. And I'm not saying you have to wake up way early than your kids or anything, but it's just carving some time out. And I know self-care is a major buzzword and very overused in my opinion, but really it's just,
you know what? I have felt so alone with that thought. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. And guess what? Going to get the groceries by yourself is not self-care.
No, not at all. As much as your husband may think it is. It's not. And the thing is, really when it comes down to it, self-care is just a matter of taking care of your basic needs, is making sure that you are loving and taking care of yourself just as good as you are your children and those others that you love. And that's really my message is, mama, wake up. You can't pour from an empty cup. Your needs are more important. And again, needs, I say it in air quotes because other moms can say other things of oh, well, this is a need, but really the basic human needs and your well-being really does need to be the first priority because when mama's doing good, everybody else is doing better. Like my husband, he used to, when I started this journey, because he was concerned. He saw what was going on. And as I started through this journey, he's like, whatever you're doing, like keep doing it. So
Yeah.
for my husband to see a shift in me was like huge.
Yeah.
And he's all, because, everything just seems to be better.
Yeah.
Like the house was more picked up. The kids were happier. Like there was
Yeah.
just a better flow. So again, that was through the work I did, through really kind of confronting and healing within from the
Yeah.
things that were major traumas and triggers for me.
Sure.
And it's also then adding things in my toolbox, like the breathing, like stop, like don't get wrapped up in all that thought process, but stop and breathe and identify what you're feeling. And then maybe pour in what you want to feel. And you say that out loud to yourself of like, no, I can do this. Like I'm an amazing, creator, or I'm an amazing blogger, or whatever it is. And people need to hear my voice, because all of us, majority of us, are all thinking the same things.
Yeah.
And we're playing small.
Right. That's so interesting that you say that, Millie, because that self-care, like you said, is such a buzzword right now. And I think there has been a misconception for a long time about when they say take time for yourself and self-care. I think sometimes, and maybe this is me, but you just go to this place where you feel like you need like an hour in a quiet room. And, I don't even know what the yoga pose is where you put like if you guys are on YouTube, you see me doing this right now, but, and sitting for an hour in quiet and hearing like a waterfall. And, I think there's a misconception that sometimes it's just a minute or two. And maybe it's breathing for one person, or maybe it's just stepping outside and getting a breath of fresh air for another. I think, if I hear you saying anything, is just take the time that you need, but don't miss out on taking a little time for yourself.
Yeah, don't put yourself last, because if you really stop and go, okay, what does my soul really want?
Yeah.
Is my soul really wanting to sit down and scroll through social media right now, or catch up on the latest Netflix binge or whatever? Or is it really just wanting me to go out and sit out on the back porch and listen to the birds?
Yeah.
And I think there's a misconception as well about how we got to push through everything and just keep going.
Right.
The power is in when you actually slow down.
Yeah.
You actually can go faster later on.
Oh, I love that.
And by refueling your tank, you are more productive, by slowing down in those small moments.
Yeah.
Like for example, like I just yesterday, I worked my work week where I carve in where my Wednesdays, we're recording this on a Thursday, but on my Wednesdays, I don't stack a lot of things, so that I can go at a lower pace midweek to help me get through the rest of the week.
But Millie, that's not culturally what you're supposed to do. Don't you know that? You're not supposed to slow down. Right? You're supposed to be like, by that time of the week, wondering what you're fixing for dinner. And oh my gosh, the house is on fire. And how are we going to get to this practice and that practice? And
right.
You mean you mean you can do that?
I know, it's like, what a concept. But again, it's about retraining yourself and trying to make yourself a priority. And again, there was a lot of guilt about making myself as a priority.
Yeah.
I had to work through that and figure out where that guilt was from. I have an amazing mom who was the perfect housewife, in my opinion, and had everything squared away and always made sure she had the perfect meal at the end of the day when we were coming home and all these different things. And, I had to come to the realization that I'm not my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't operate in the same way she does.
Right.
And, I had to, and I felt guilty that I wanted to be a professional working mom, and split my time and things like that. And so again, you have to work through this points, but really, like, again, why is it that we live in a society where so many women are just suffering from anxiety and depression and overwhelm and adrenal fatigue and, all these different things? What has changed? Well, it's the demand on the woman. And
you will hear, if you have followed me for any length of time on social media or just sat across the table and had a cup of coffee with me, you will hear me often say, we need to stop wearing busy as a badge of honor.
Right.
And I almost have guilt sometimes about thinking, well, I haven't signed my kids up for 10 things at a time. And it's like, wait a minute. No, some of the happiest seasons that they have is when we don't have a lot of obligations. And I especially will get on the soapbox all day long about how I feel like we're stressing our kids out. And
Bingo,
yeah,
bingo. And,
yeah, it's
and
not
that's
fair.
something that, because you're setting the tone for how
Yeah,
they interpret the world, right?
right.
And basically by teaching them, well, like, okay, well, we're just going to do family board night, or, we're going to
Yeah,
get a board game and do something. And, or like, I even talk to my kids about when they're in the midst of having these raging tantrums, or they're
yeah.
really upset about homework. I teach the same thing. Okay, let's stop.
What's
First
happening?
of all, I use the acronym HALT. Like, are you hungry?
Oh,
Um, Now of course I can't think of it, but like, are you hungry? Are you upset? Like, are you absolutely upset? Like, what's the emotion? Are you lonely? Like, are you just needing some attention from
yeah.
somebody? Or are you tired?
Oh boy.
And okay, so just identify what's really going on,
Yeah,
because sometimes it's just our natural human cues of like, yeah, I'm really hungry, I haven't eaten anything, or yeah, I'm really tired, or these
yeah,
different things. And then not that it works every time, because obviously my 8-year-old's like, Mom, like, knock it off. But again, using that practice of, okay, just take a deep breath, kiddo. Like,
yeah,
really take a deep breath. Like, let's identify, like, what's really bothering you.
yeah.
I just really want to go out and play, or this is really stressing me out because I can't do it perfectly. So I'm
Right.
feeling bad on myself, and
Yeah.
all these different things. And, to be honest, like, and this is coming from an elementary school teacher, homework is is something else.
Yeah.
But personally, in my opinion, the kids need to be out playing more and have a break because they've been working so hard all day. But
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's sometimes like what I'll do. I'll be like, okay, stop, like, we're gonna eat something, or what, this
Yeah.
can wait until the morning, you need to go to bed, or go out and play,
Yeah.
because they're little beings too, and they can get stressed out. Also, they can feed off of your energy.
Oh goodness, is that not true?
And I used to always say at when I was working, it's like, gosh, like, what's going on, with the class? And then I do an inner check and go, oh yeah, I've been a little grouchy today, or I'm overwhelmed, or
Yeah.
I've got a big thing that needs to happen. And it totally relates, where
I
we
have a
all share it.
Yeah, I have had a business coach for gosh, 6 years now. She's phenomenal, Jennifer Allwood. I don't know if you follow her, but and I don't know if this is even her saying, but I'm going to give her credit because that's where I hear it all the time is kids learn more from what is caught than what is taught.
Mhm.
And that's frightening as a mom to think of all the
Right.
things that we're putting out there that is not verbal or not spoken. Kids are catching all of that. And for you to, I mean, emotions especially,
Right.
and that subconscious, all those subconscious behaviors that we do every day that we're not even aware of,
Right.
it does. And I think, again, we're coming in hard on moms today, but moms really set the tone for a household, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, they really are the thermostat for the home.
Yeah.
And and I think that's why my husband made the statement he did about, like, well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because
Yeah.
everybody is feeling better.
Yeah.
And and I had to come to terms with that shouldering weight, because for so long I pushed it away, and you're like, but no, like, I don't want it to be, because like, I don't
Yeah.
want to be the person that is dictating how everybody else
Right.
responds to what's
Right.
going on. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want that responsibility, and I don't want to have to be the one that's choosing to
Yeah.
make the better choice, or to make sure that I'm checking my own self.
Right.
So, and I still have some hard days where I'm like, no, like, I need to feel my way, which is totally
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying for anybody to stuff any emotions or how they feel about something, but it's about how you respond to it and
Yeah.
how you process it, which is so important.
Being mindful, being
Yeah.
mindful. So
Because really, by healing yourself, you are healing your children, from generational things,
yeah.
and then also helping them thrive throughout the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So
Millie, we could talk all day.
I know.
And I am loving this. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a segment coming on. I feel like we need a mindfulness with Millie, don't you?
Oh, I think so. And I'm totally up for it. I love it. Like, this is my passion.
Well, we have hit on about 100 topics that I absolutely love to talk about. And I feel like we are just scratching the surface. And if it's okay with you, I want you back, and I want a lot of Millie in my life, and I want to share. I don't want to share you, but I am going to share you with my audience, because I think, like I said at the beginning, the mindset just overflows, really not even overflows. It's the undercurrent behind all of the things that we do. And, there's always lots of layers and elements to things, but it doesn't really matter what task you're trying to accomplish or goal that you're trying to meet, or maybe you just need to get out of bed today. And that's an okay thing too.
Yeah.
It all comes back to mindset, and it all comes back to just making sure that you're okay, because if you're okay, everyone else around you, you can serve better. And I feel like, that's another topic for another day, but we live in a world where we need to serve others, and we need to be in the mindset that it isn't all about us, but we have to get ourselves okay first before we can serve, at our highest and best purpose. So I'm going to have you back, but before I let you go, we have to have a little fun. And if you know anything about me, my favorite thing, I'm sure you have, because you're an emotion coach, but, or energy coach. Have you read the 5 love languages?
I have, yes.
Anybody that has not, you need to stop what you're doing right now and go read that, because it will probably save your marriage. Well, he needs to read it too.
Right, it's a joint effort.
But I don't always like getting gifts. That makes me a little nervous, but I love to give gifts. Like, I love to give gifts, and I love it when it's very personalized. And I was sitting here like trying not to laugh a couple of times when you said a couple of words, because I have the perfect gift for you. And I had intended to mail it to you before this happened, but that would mean that I was organized and did stuff on time. And that didn't happen this week. But you said something about moms wearing a lot of hats, and moms carry a lot of bags, right?
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize. I mean, it starts with the diaper bag when you become a mother, and it just, and it turns.
You have your purse, you have the diaper bag.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then you have soccer bags and basketball. And I mean, you just go on and on, but this is for you. And this is just for fun, and it's silly, but I got you a bag.
Oh my goodness.
But
I love it.
Can you read that?
It says emotional baggage. Just kidding. Like, it would actually fit in here. I love it.
I am like somebody that is an emotion coach specialist. Absolutely. I mean, I feel like probably at the end of your days with some of your clients, you probably need a truckload to haul some of it off.
Oh
but
my goodness.
I want you to know the work that you're doing is amazing. It's impactful. I have personal experience of working with Millie. I cannot recommend her highly enough. So I'm going to send that to you, but I want to go through a couple rapid fire questions just for fun. So are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so just answer these with the first things that come to mind. There is no right answer. It is all just for fun. So let me pull this open here. Okay, number 1, time should always blank.
Freeze.
Ooh. Okay, number 2, taking breaks
is worthwhile.
Okay, number 3, every day I must
meditate.
Oh, I had a feeling you were going to say that one.
Okay. Be still.
Number 4, you excel in your business when?
I'm grounded.
Ooh, I like that. I heard that one. Okay, number 5, one lesson that helped you most in the early days of your business was?
Focus on the next step.
Ooh.
Just one step at a time.
That is so good. And I think that's so much easier said than done, but it's very, very important. Okay, number 6, what do you want to leave your kids with that you did not have growing up?
The ability to process their emotions.
Okay.
Better.
Said like a true energy coach. Okay.
Right.
Number 7, if you could create a law that everyone had to follow, what would it be?
I think we all need Fridays off.
Oh my goodness. Amen to that. Amen to that. Okay. Number 8, what is something that you know to be true that many people disagree with you on?
that actually going slower and taking a break will help you be more productive in the long run.
And I think if people would try it, they would see that that is not only good advice, but it's vital. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, number 9, what is the biggest lesson you've learned in the last 12 months?
Oh, that everything doesn't have to be done perfect, because no matter how much you have something planned, there's always going to be a monkey wrench.
Yeah. Yeah. And the sooner you accept that, it seems like the smoother things tend to go, right?
Right. And don't fight the process of life unfolding, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, final thoughts. Where can we find you? Because I know people are going to be running your direction. So where can we send them?
Awesome. Well, you can find me on my social platforms. So on Instagram, I'm at Millie Barra. So just all squished together, MILLIE BARRA. So if this resonates with you, I do a lot of posts around mindfulness and energy work, and also stuff fun with mom stuff. So you can also find me over on Facebook as well, which is also at Millie Barra. I also have a website, which is www.thrive-within.com. And I know Sarah will tag that in
Yeah.
the show notes and everything. But yeah, really, I'm just all about building a community of women that are looking for, like-minded women who are kind of going through the journey as well silently, because right, we all
Yes.
silently are thinking and feeling this way because
Yes.
we're too scared to voice it. But really creating that safe space and realizing that we're really all on the same playing field.
Yeah.
And there's no competition between us.
Well, you're building your community and I want to be in it. And I hope you'll be in mine. And we're going to have you back, Millie. And I just can't thank you enough for the work that you're doing. And you're just real. And I just love it. You're authentic. And you guys need a chance with Millie. You will see you walk away, you just feel calmer and better. And it's a great experience. So
Yeah.
thank you for taking a little time out of your very busy life, but we are going to have you back. So
yeah, and if this resonated with anybody and you're wanting to explore what it is like to work with me beyond just being within my community, feel free to reach out. I offer a discovery call where we can just sit down and have a conversation about what your struggles are and what it may look like with working with me. So feel free to connect on any of the platforms and just DM me.
you guys need to go right now, stop what you're doing and go see Millie's hilarious reels. She does the best reels on her Instagram page. I almost every day I'm like, what has Millie posted today? I have to see her funny reel. So
oh my goodness. Yeah. And I have struggled. I one thing we say, what is something you have struggled with? I have struggled with putting myself on camera. That was something that I struggled with. And now I'm having a lot of fun with it. Look at that. Like I pushed through it and I'm enjoying it now on the other side.
Well, I'm enjoying it. And I hope you keep doing it. So
thank you.
Millie, thank you. I love you. And we will have you back again very soon.
Wonderful. Can't wait. Have a great day, guys.
Love to you guys. Bye.
Bye.